Hi, I'm Judy Varden. So I grew up in Detroit and I was born hearing. And I became deaf around 2 years old. All of my family is hearing except for myself. I'm deaf. So it was around maybe 1990 and the flu was going around and it hit me, and I went to the doctor and he told my mom, I don't know what's gonna happen, maybe. So they gave me a shot, and so that ended up making me deaf, but I'm here. So the only way I could communicate with my family was orally. It was really difficult to communicate. It was everything was orally based and there was no signing. So trying to communicate with my family, I had to practice oral a lot, and there was a lot of that visual information that I was still trying to take in, but it was still difficult. So I went to school and I met my husband Larry when we were 4. We were going to school together. Both of us were deaf, and we just continued that friendship until now. So the two of us always hoped that we would have kids and that they were born healthy and everything. We wanted them to have that deaf culture and signing. So when our first was born, he was hearing. So we did still teach him sign though, and my family wasn't happy about that because they were thinking, well, what if he has mental problems from not talking, or he can't speak, like not until he's 5 or something. But once he started talking, he never stopped. I feel comfortable in my home with my own rules, and I wanted to learn sign. I didn't want a doctor to say no, even though there were all those things. So in my home environment, I wanted to feel comfortable, and I didn't want to have to always be speaking. So I have 2 boys. So my second one is Lance. About a month after I found out that I was pregnant, we learned that he was blind, and I didn't know what to do with that. So I didn't know how he was going to understand me, and it was kind of funny. I didn't know. His eyes, he'd never seen, so I didn't know. We were in all different states. We went to see what we can do, talk about it. We tried to find like a connection of visual impairment, maybe something that was going on. It's a long word to spell. It means that his eyes are very small. They didn't fully grow. So when he was born, he didn't have a lens. He had nothing. So that means that when I was pregnant with him, in about 20 weeks or something, his eyes should have started growing, but they never did. It's kind of similar with a deaf baby's ears. About 9 months, we finally had some answers. We were excited. It's the same idea. So that means he had different transplants, but all of them failed. So the important thing was with my baby, how am I going to maybe teach him sign? He can't see me signing. It's the same with a child in a cochlear, just getting that information in. It's a lot. So we started with Braille and everything like that. How will you sign if you can't see and you're deaf? Really, later, we found out different ways when he was about 9. Before, we did a lot of touch, and he would just kind of pull away because he didn't quite understand. So it was a little bit of a problem. Anyway, my husband kept doing it. He kept trying tactile, and at bedtime he would read him a story, and he would still be signing in his hands. That's when he started to kind of pick it up, and communication became a lot better. So maybe 2 words? It's fine. So both of the brothers, it was the first communication with them. We have to follow, be careful. We had a form of inside communication between all of us. We became students ourselves, and we both had a learning process. So we found a way to communicate. Sometimes it was important to talk so that Lance could maybe understand us and he would know something. It didn't necessarily need an interpreter, but it was still important to communicate. So when Lance was a baby, we started with tactile, and that was a way to communicate. He's never known not that. So, and he was 3, he started to pick up his favorite signing. So, it's kind of the same idea as Helen Keller. So for him, it's a little bit different because he's not deaf-blind, but it's still a little bit the same. He would feel the different parts of the hand. Oh, that's an O, that's a K. So it was a little bit interesting, and I don't know. So for all different people, hearing, deaf, blind, there was always, both need help first. So there's all different variations, and it doesn't mean that you're bad, it just means that you don't have that experience yet. So you need to feel confident in everything, and especially with your children. So hearing people, it's different. You need to learn how to sign. I feel like, I don't know. how do you do it in deaf communities? How do you feel? Who's always... It's the same idea, different meetings, blind groups. So it's different when you're in his shoes, especially if it's specifically with someone else. Really, a baby just needs love. That should be the focus.